Hi and welcome along to the Invincibles podcast with my man Lee Judges in the building. How was your journey home last night?
Yeah, it was all right. Like, I went home with my mate Steve, then I couldn't wait around with you guys all day. Yeah, it was tough, wasn't it? It's a tired Invincibles today because we was like...
Man, I'll tell you, the fog coming back from Liverpool was ridiculous. And, Lee had to drive like 40, 50 miles an hour all the way home. Yeah, it was like, by the time we left, it was like pea soup. But you know what? It's worth it. Because
it was worth it.
It was,
it wasn't after Granit Xhaka got sent off. I actually went, why have I done this? I thought it was going to be a nightmare, but credit to the
Arsenal,
players. Great
performance, and still in the tie. It's 0-0. It's only half time. We can't get carried away. We didn't win the game or nothing.
No.
But we got out of jail, taking it back to the Emirates, and Arsenal now have got a great chance of getting through to the final of the Carabao Cup, where of course we played Chelsea. And I was thinking about it and I was saying, the last time we won the FA Cup, we had to do it the hard way. Man City in the semi-final, Chelsea in the final. Maybe it's a similar sort of thing this time. I mean, first of all, what did you make of the game? Let's start with a big talking point, which of course was our old friend Granit Xhaka getting sent off yet again. I mean, he's been sent off now, I think it's 6 times. Right? Arsenal got more red cards than any other team in the Premier League, and he's been responsible for 6 of them.
Yeah.
I mean,
enough's enough now. And I'm not a...
He issued an apology after the game.
Yeah, and he's never done that before.
Yeah.
And I have to say that I'm not against Granit Xhaka. I think met him. He's a lovely person and all that. Very, very friendly. But ultimately, he continues to keep doing this. Now, my argument is, Mikel Arteta is very, very strict. If you continually turn up late, look what happens. He's continually getting sent off or doing misdemeanours that are costing us games. And I'll tell you what now, if I was a player, I would start getting frustrated with him.
Yeah, because if you think about it, there was the game earlier on in the season.
Man City.
When we played Man City. Remember that. The worst thing about Granit Xhaka is that anytime he gets sent off, he does it early. He's not like he won't sort of like, right, I'll take one for the team, there's 5 minutes to go, and I took one for the team because he's running through on goal. His ones will be like 20 minutes gone, 15 minutes gone, and then the team's under pressure for the rest of the game. Man City earlier on in the season gets sent off, we're 1-0 down, we end up losing 5-1, right? Man City at home, we're controlling the game, we're playing really some of our best football for ages. He commits a silly foul, gives away a penalty, because it's not just the red cards, those things are liability things as well.
Of course they are,
And then semi-final of the Carabao Cup, you're going away to Anfield, under the lights, as the Liverpool fans like to say, great atmosphere there. It's going to be tough with 11 men. He gets himself sent off, after 24 minutes. He's the most senior player in that Arsenal team. He's the most experienced player in that Arsenal team. But yet still he does these juvenile things.
Yeah, and I look at it now and it is a harsh sending off because they've actually confirmed it was for a goal scoring opportunity. Now, was it a goal scoring opportunity? I don't know. Was it great control? I don't know. So it is a little bit harsh, but he puts himself in that position.
It's always him, though, isn't it?
It's always him. And I will say this. I'm going to say this, and people might laugh at me. If that was Van Dijk, I think it would have been a yellow card. And then maybe it would have gone to review. I don't know. But because it's Granit Xhaka, he's got this reputation now.
Yeah, but if you've got that reputation.
Exactly. And that's why I think it's time now to cut our losses.
You make a good point, right? When you talk about Mikel Arteta, right? And listen, I don't want to criticise him because I thought, he organised the team brilliantly last night to still pull off a draw. But when Pepe got sent off that time, against Leeds, he called him out openly, right? When Guendouzi had that falling out at Brighton that time, he called him out publicly.
Yeah.
Granit Xhaka's been doing these time after time after time.
Yeah.
But yet still he backs him to the hilt.
Yeah, and so
and not just, to be fair, not just Mikel Arteta. Wenger backed him to the hilt. Emery backed him to the hilt. Ljungberg backed him to the hilt. What is it with this guy that the FTV? I mean,
well, he's obviously a nice guy. He is a nice guy. You know what I mean? Like, I've had the pleasure of meeting him.
I've had the pleasure of meeting him.
He is a lovely fella.
He's an honourable guy.
He is. He's a really nice guy. Ultimately, he is starting to cost. Do you know, like, I see someone mention, Vieira got sent off a lot, like, you know what I mean? But Vieira won us games of football. Granit Xhaka's not that sort of player where he takes the game by the scruff of the neck and wins your games. But what he is doing is he's making us lose games. I remember the game against Brighton when he pulls down the shirt. That cost us Champions League football, by the way. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's all those sort of things, but it's just silly little things like that.
It's almost
continuously happening.
Do you know what with him? What I find with him, he loses control. He makes a mistake, he panics, he loses. So in the Liverpool game, for me, if you actually look, he's misjudged that ball coming from.
It's a bit. Right? He didn't mean to do that. He hasn't
meant to do it. He hasn't meant to do it, but he's misjudged and then he's panicked.
Yeah, trying to make amends.
The game against Man City, the man's, Silva's getting past him.
Yeah, he panics.
He panics, pulls his shirt. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you can reverse that in his game. It's too late, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I do think for me. It's just become the liability, and I don't know. I think there's a lot of
costly liability because and
I've lost patience with it now. I'm not being horrible. You're going up there, and it took us ages to get there for the traffic and everything like that, and then you're going, right, come on, and he goes and does that, and it's the frustration of it. Listen, he's got away with it to a certain degree in that game because. We managed to dig out and get a performance. But what he's done for me is he's let me down as a fan for the game against Tottenham because we're short of midfield players and he's gone and done that. And the second leg we're short of him in there. So that's where we're going to be hurting from him. And the fact of the matter is he's missing games through suspension. He's missing games through being injured early on in the season. We need him.
Do we?
Well,
if he's going to do stuff like that,
we do need him as far as the body's concerned. But ultimately, now, I think Mikel's got to draw the line.
You know what I mean. I'm like you. You know what I mean. And he does add steel to that midfield and that, but he continually does this. He's a liability.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. You know, how many more times is he going to do these things? No other player gets away with it. He does it all the time. You know what I mean. Unnecessary cards. Sometimes yellow cards unnecessarily. He's got to get more control over himself.
Yeah, and it is.
You spoke about how he let the fans down. He also let his teammates down. Eddie Nketiah has to come off.
Yeah.
After 24 minutes, looking forward to playing the game. Hardly gets a chance to start a game. Starting a game at Anfield has to come off because of Granit Xhaka.
Yeah.
Right. Every player there has run themselves into the ground. Martinelli, who was more like a athletic 200-metre runner in the game because all he was doing was sprints to try and close this player down, sprints to try and close that player down, right? Those guys, he's let them down because they've had to change their whole game up. Lacazette, running around all night long, having to close people down. Every single one of those defenders.
He's
all because of Granit Xhaka getting himself stupidly sent off.
And he done it at City, and it didn't work. But they still had to run if it was me as a player, I'd be getting fed up with it now and going, look, come on. This is you can't keep leaving us like this on the park. That's why I think he's apologised because he knows that he's on thin ice now.
And then Arsenal in general. In these big games, we keep doing it, down to 10 men.
Yeah, you can't keep doing it.
Down to 10 men. City, the first game, down to 10 men. Down to 10 men against, City at home. Down to 10 men again last night against Liverpool. You know what I mean? Penalties is another thing. We give away penalties in these games. We've got to get our discipline right because they're fine margins when you're playing in these games. When you're playing against top teams, it's fine margins. Why are we continually failing on those, in penalties given away and also in players getting sent off? But having said that, what a performance by the players who did stay. We always talk as fans about we want to see heart, we want to see fight, we want to see passion. Did they have the same amount of passion as what we thought we as fans had? And we saw on Sunday against Nottingham Forest a real lack of all those things. But the response last night was brilliant. And I don't know how you felt. I mean, when that sending off happened,
oh damn!
What was you thinking?
I want to go home.
I want to go home. I want to go home.
I absolutely was on my haunches. I thought, like, you know, all what's gone on, the cheating tactics from Liverpool, because it was, you know what I mean, what they done, like, yeah, you know what I mean, like, I don't say they're cheating. That's probably a bit harsh. They use the rules to their advantage. They work the system. They use it to their advantage. We all know that they did, and they've got all their players back, and we go and shoot ourselves in the foot, like, you know what I mean. I was just sitting there thinking, I've got to go all the way back. It's going to be a, 2 or 3-0. You know, it was a real bad thing. But ultimately, I'm going to say this now: the credit to the manager for the change of tactics. I'm going to say this now: Cedric went off after 10 minutes as well, but he brought in players there, and I'm going to the biggest praise I'm going to give a player. You know, I say you expect it from Martinelli and Xhaka. They were absolutely superb in there. But for me, Callum Chambers come in there. I don't remember the last time he had minutes for us in the first team. I can't remember. And to produce a performance like that with no football, we must be before December. Like, it must be. I can't know when it was. And produce a performance like that. All credit to him, like, you know. And it just shows you what attitude that, you know, he may not be a starter, he may not be the best player on the pitch, but I'd rather have someone like him than someone like Mesut Ozil or a Granit Xhaka putting his heart and soul and body into that performance with the lack of football, and to produce a performance like that. Fair play to him, like, you know what I mean. And he probably knows his future isn't at Arsenal in the long term, but to do that, Robbie, was sensational for me. Like,
and they had to put in a team. They had to put in a real gritty team performance and gutsy team performance.
Holding come on and done a great job, by the way.
Holding was, I thought Ben White was brilliant
Outstanding.
yesterday. Gabriel was Gabriel. It's solid. Kieran Tierney was good. You know what I mean? Yes, he weren't able to get forward much, but he done, you know,
best left back on the park, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, Robertson was on toast. Saka, by the way, was brilliant. He had Robertson. He had him panicked, I tell you.
Do you know what? I always say this, and I said this earlier on the podcast. 2 things that are key for that. There was a time when the ball went over the top, and he against another team, he would have controlled it and he just headed it out. He just he just was panicking over what Xhaka could do.
Yeah.
And the other thing, and I loved it. Maybe it was a silly challenge, but I loved the challenge. Was Martinelli's one on Van Dijk when he smashed into him. It said to me, I don't care who you are. I've got no respect for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not in a nasty way, in a good way. Like, I'm here. I'm Martinelli, I'm Arsenal, and we're going to give you a game. And I love that. Yeah,
and we did give him a game, and now, you know, it's half time in the tie, but we're still in it. We could have been miles out of it, going down to 10 men. You could see at the end of the game who were the happier, because the Arsenal fans were celebrating. The Liverpool fans were really frustrated.
Yeah.
Klopp was frustrated, the players were frustrated. But I think, you know, they didn't deserve to get anything out of it. I thought we defended well. They had a chance. Minamino missed a, quite straightforward chance, but Saka also missed a chance. He could have nicked it.
It wasn't a game of many chances. It was a tactical battle.
I think they only had one shot on target.
They didn't have a shot on target. Didn't have one shot on target. No, they had that shot that should have been on target.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It hit the cop.
Yeah, 17 shots, but none of it. That just goes to show you how brilliant a defensive performance it was by Arsenal.
Yeah, and all credit to them, like, you know, and what the ultimate thing is, when you go into those 2-legged affairs, the first leg, you've got to stay in the game. You've got to stay in the home advantage is there for them to try and now 1-0, 2-0 and go into the second. We've gone there and kept it level. We've done that a couple of years ago at Chelsea. Do you remember we drew 0-0 at Chelsea and then we beat them at home? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is we've got the ideal scenario. You know, Spurs went to Chelsea the week before, 2-0. That basically Chelsea got it done at the home one. Liverpool couldn't do it against us, so it's not over by a long stretch of imagination. But we've kept ourselves in it. And listen, we was going up there in the car. We'd done that interview. We said we'd take a draw. That was without 10 men. You know what I mean? So with 10 men out of 20 minutes, you know what I mean. If you'd have said to me, well, we'll get a draw out of this, you know what I mean, I'd have said you was mad. I didn't see it happening, but we did. And all credit to the players. And as I said, you know, we went to a back five. I like the way we done it. What we actually done was say, right, we're going to go in narrow. You can have the ball out wide. If you want to cross it, we've got defenders in there that can head it. It might be a little bit different if we do that against Spurs because they've got Harry Kane that can head a ball. But like, we looked at the situation and said, right, we block the middle. You can have it on the wide areas. There was and there was a reluctance, wasn't there, from Liverpool to play it out to their wide players because they know that if they're going to cross it in, we was going to mop it up, and that's where Ben White, Holding, were outstanding in there, like, you know. And I will have to say, you know, the whole back four, and I love, as I said earlier in the interview yesterday, I love Ramsdale. I've got to say it, you know what I mean? Like, I absolutely love him. Every time he got the ball, down he went, wasting second. When have you seen an Arsenal player do that? I haven't seen an Arsenal player do that.
You know, the other thing I liked about him, Lee, as well, right? He just went long all the time.
Yeah.
I see Gabriel sometimes, like, it's particularly in the first half, Gabriel moaning to him, saying, let's just go short this time. And he was like, no, get down the pitch. Yeah. Territory. I mean, we got 10 men. You can't be stupid. You can't be stupid.
The game management of that game was fantastic. We weren't going to give them any sort of like chances and all that. And
it's a cup tie. It's the first leg. We got 10 men. Get out of there. 0-0 or at worst a goal down.
Yeah.
And take it back to our place and see what we can do.
Listen, you would have took a goal down. You would have took a goal down.
Yeah. I would have taken a 1-0 down in them circumstances.
100%.
So I'd say it's advantage Arsenal now. Yeah. It's a tough game. It's Liverpool. They're a quality team. They could come to the Emirates and turn us over.
Of course they can. They've got that.
If we're not on it. But we've given ourselves a chance. And you've got to say we're at home, advantages with Arsenal. And
the big thing for me, and it was, the atmosphere in there yesterday was absolutely fantastic yesterday. And Anfield was quiet. Now, the reason that is, and I'm not criticising Liverpool, because most home grounds are like that, when you've got like 6,000 to 9,000 fans in one little area, it's always going to make it. It does. You know, it does. But Arsenal now, the fans, I think, really did contribute yesterday. We've got to do that at the Emirates now. We've got to make that as loud as so. If you're going next week, be as loud and proud as you can to stifle out their away support.
It's a massive game because listen, it's our only chance of winning a trophy this season.
Yeah,
let's remember that we're out of the FA Cup. Still can't believe that. That performance was almost the opposite, right? But this is a chance to get to the final. Be hard against Chelsea if we get there, but we've beaten Chelsea in finals before. So this is a huge, huge opportunity for Arsenal, and we got to seize it. The only worrying thing, and then, you know, I'm moving on now to the North London derby, is the toll that result took in the players that were on the pitch because they were all out on their feet. Martinelli couldn't even get up at the end of the game. They were all absolutely knackered. Then you add on top of that the amount of injuries and COVID cases and stuff like that Arsenal have at the moment, as well as players missing at the African Cup of Nations. No Odegaard, no Tomiyasu, right? Obviously no Partey, no Pepe, no Aubameyang. We might not have played anyway, but he can't play. No El Neni, right? Xhaka now, stupidly sent off. No Xhaka.
No Cedric.
Right, no Cedric, hobbled off injured. So that's both right backs out. You know, no Emile Smith-Rowe. I mean, the team is so depleted. I mean, does the game on Sunday, the North London derby, does that even go ahead?
Well, there's a possibility that that it might not. I think that it probably will, because if you have a look at, we haven't got that many COVID cases, have we? It's all like injuries and all that. We're just going to have to get on with it, Rob. You know what I mean? Like, and that's where it's annoying. I watched the Chelsea-Tottenham game, not worried about Tottenham getting through, but I wanted to see a sending off and them going down to 10 men and absolutely being run ragged by Chelsea. What's happened? This has gone the other way round, you know. And also they've had the extra day off, you know, by playing Wednesday, and they didn't really assert themselves too much. So it'd be very, very interesting. Now, you know, they've got a couple of injuries themselves, but ultimately,
no Son.
No Song.
You ain't got no Son.
It'd be like that old the old COVID at Liverpool that suddenly go away, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So,
no, they said he's going to be out for about a month.
Said that. I believe it when I see it, like, you know what I mean? Because I don't care what anybody says about Tottenham. They have two class players in their team, him and Kane. And if he's missing, they ain't going to be as good. They ain't going to be as good. You know
that Lucas Moura's been playing well.
Yeah, Lucas Moura's very, very good.
Yeah. And they were missing Dyer the other day as well, who all the Tottenham fans have been saying to me he's been their best defender this season. And without him, you know, they're saying, you know, Davinson Sanchez has been playing all right defensively, but only when Dyer's there. If it's Dyer, you know, you saw the other day Davinson Sanchez and Tanganga, they're kind of all over the place, you know what I mean? So there's an opportunity, but you know what, unpopular opinion, yeah? Maybe. If I was Mikel Arteta, I'm pushing to get the game called off. Yeah, I'll do a Liverpool, and I'm going to give you the reason why. I'm not scared of Tottenham in any way, right? I feel, listen, it's always going to be tough at Tottenham. We haven't beaten them there, I think, for 12 years. At home, they always do well against us, right? It's a really tough place to go to. Even back in the day when we had the Invincibles, sometimes they still gave us tough times there, right? But I just feel that if we've got our starting 11, our best 11, against their best 11, I think we can get a result against them. I think our best 11 is better than their best 11. But at the moment, if we're going to go there half-cooked, with all those players missing, then that worries me a bit, you know what I mean? Because you know, even though they ain't been playing great, that worries me a bit. Do what Liverpool did, you know? And if you think about it, right, if that game was cancelled, it'd probably be replayed in a couple of weeks' time. We could have Partey back, and all the guys from the African Cup of Nations. We get back Odegaard, and because these guys are key in those big games, like guys like Odegaard and people like that, Partey, Tomiyasu, huge in a game like that. Get those players back, you know, rather than going there. I know that Chambers was brilliant and putting a great rear guard. I know, but he's still not Tomiyasu, and these other players are still out. Obviously, we're going to go. We won't be playing in that same sort of fashion. So, for me personally, you know, do a Liverpool, get it cancelled, then we can rest up all of those players so that they're fit in time for the game on Thursday, second leg, and then probably a week or 2 weeks after that, we replay that game. And you know,
listen,
if we got loads of players out, that
if it's genuinely we got that, you know, and legitimately we can do it. Then
was it genuine with Liverpool?
I don't think so, but you know, obviously it is at the moment with Arsenal. But it just, you want to see that. Part of me says let's go and play it because we're in good form. Forget about the Nottingham Forest game. We've gone toe to toe with Manchester City with 10 men. We've gone toe to toe with Liverpool with 10 men. If we can keep 11 men going, who knows? But there is that thing of seeing Martinelli running himself ragged, Saka run himself into the ground.
Saka was finished at the end of the game.
Couldn't go no more.
Lots of players as well.
You know, so you know, and we've only got those 2 days to recover. Where Tottenham have got 3. In an ideal world, yes, but in an ideal world, is it, like, you know? So sometimes, and I always say it. Sometimes when your back's against the wall, that's when you produce.
Burnley's game's off tomorrow. Really?
Burnley's game's off. You know, they sold wood and they've called the game off. Right, you know what I mean? So,
listen, if we've got those COVID, because remember, to get a game called off, it isn't like your whole squad's got to have COVID. When Liverpool got the game called off, it was because of a combination of COVID, injuries, and players at AFCON, where they were able to turn around and say, you know, we don't think we can confidently put out a decent 11. And they got the game called off. Yeah.
So there's going to be.
I'll call it off.
There's going to be.
I'll call it off.
There is obviously like an issue. There's going to be an issue. Like, we'll just have to wait and see. Won't know until tomorrow.
Do you know what? As well, I was chatting to somebody at Arsenal, and they said to me as well. Sometimes as well, it can be the opposition team that gets a game called off because they don't want a load of COVID in their camp either. Yeah. So. But I don't think Tottenham would want to call the game off.
No, well, don't forget Tottenham have had the outbreak, haven't they? So they're you know, so they say the science is all that saying they're immune to it. So they're not going to be worried about that. Listen, if you want to take on Arsenal at this moment in time, the best time to take them on in between the two semi-finals. You know what I mean? Like, it's the perfect time. That's why I was always annoyed about the Liverpool game. We should have had that game last week in between the Nottingham Forest game, which we would have made changes anyway, and then we'd have played like yesterday, and then we'd have been able to concentrate on the North London derby. But we've also got to have one eye going on to next week's Thursday game as well. Like, yes, we'll have Odegaard back for that, and maybe like Smith Rowe and Tomiyasu may be out to come for it. But we are lacking is midfield, and thanks to Granit Xhaka, like, you know what I mean.
And now, thanks to Granit Xhaka, we've got no midfield.
We've got
Sambi Lokonga, and that's it.
And
he played well yesterday.
He did play very well yesterday. He got better as the game went on.
But that's it. It's only him.
It's only him, and that's not. We're not having a go at him by saying it's only him. That's who we've got.
Yeah.
We're going to have to take a risk on Coutinho, maybe play Chambers in there.
So I mean, in a big game like the North London derby.
So Spurs, we wanting that game on.
Yeah. Why should we go in there when other teams this season have been using that? Why should
Tottenham
we go
included.
in there? Yeah. Why should we go in there with some half-baked, depleted team? If I'm Mikel Arteta, if you can't get some of your main guys back for that, I don't know. Listen, I don't know what's going on. I don't know who's out for how long. But for me, if I'm Mikel Arteta and I walk into London Coney and they tell me that, Mikel, no chance Tomiyasu's making it, sorry. Smith Rowe, no chance. Odegaard's out, no chance. And I've got no midfield, right? I've got no midfield going into that game. I ain't got Tomiyasu, who's a big-time player in these type of games, right? I'm looking around and, my coaches are saying, you know what, Saka, Martinelli in the red zone, mate. They could do with a bit of a rest. I'm saying, you know what?
Yeah.
Get the biro pen out, draw a couple of lines on those tests. Well, maybe not that, but you know what I mean. I want the game off because I was looking at Tottenham, comparing Tottenham to Arsenal right now. I think we've got a better team than them. This is not, take the North London derby rivalry out of it. I think, when I look at it, if I go through the two 11s, best 11s, I think we've got a better team than them. I only think a couple of Tottenham players get into our team. A few years ago, it was the reverse.
Yeah.
But, I look
at a complete change around.
Yeah, Lloris has played really well for them this season in goal, but
you can debate that.
Yeah,
him and Ramsdale.
Ramsdale
for me.
Ramsdale for me.
Tomiyasu
definitely a right back, better than that Emerson Royale, right? Ben White and Gabriel.
Over for anybody.
I know the Tottenham fans have been saying Dyer's been playing really well this season.
Wouldn't swap them over.
And then on the left-hand side, come on, Doherty or whatever, no chance with Kieran Tierney. Moving into the midfield, all right, let's just say we've got everyone's available, everyone. Definitely Partey's in there. Xhaka, maybe you're right. Højbjerg gets him probably over Xhaka.
Well, their best midfield player. I think that the games that I've watched the Spurs over the last couple of weeks, believe it or not, shoot me now if you want. Is Harry Winks has been there,
or Winks or Skip.
Been their better player.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
maybe they get one into that midfield out of one of them.
So the midfield on both sides is weak. And that's where you want to take that advantage. If we had Xhaka and Partey in there, I think that would have been.
But I'm just comparing 11s now. So I'm saying, maybe because as we're saying with Xhaka, he becomes a liability. So you maybe put a Højbjerg or someone like that into your
I'm not being that impressive.
I'm not that impressive.
But the last few games, I have been impressed with Harry Winks.
Or Harry Winks, maybe, yeah. But then Odegaard definitely gets into that midfield.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And then, when you go to the up front, right? You're obviously always going to want to put Harry Kane in there because he's
Harry Kane gets in
even though he's not having a great season.
No, the last few games, I think there's been a little bit of
in the Premier League, he's not played well.
No, but
I think he's 3-4 goals all season.
I'd still put him in.
But I'll put him in there.
I'd still put him over
Lacazette. And then you've got Saka's got to be in there.
Yeah,
Saka's got to be in there. The way he's been playing this season, he's been brilliant. And then on the other side, there's Martinelli or Smith Rowe. Son's not been playing that great this season.
Well, listen. I would have over the last 2, 3, 4 years, Harry Kane and Son would be guaranteed stars.
Guaranteed. And then remember they used to have like all the viral guarantee.
I hate Song
Yeah.
as a player because he's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, let's get that right. But I would not swap him now. I would not. I wouldn't. I would prefer. I would never. Saka for me is. I'm not. You know, if you said like you can have Song, no. And Martinelli now, no. You know, there's arguments over the last couple of years. Yeah, Song for Aubameyang, Song for even Song for Saka when he was, you know, but not now. And I'm a bit. Look, listen, Tottenham are dangerous with those two players in this side. If you're a Spurs fan, you're going to say, "Oh, Song for this, Song for that," like, you know what I mean. But for me, I would not swap our front three for anybody, but I would. Harry Kane. Well, listen, it's so much so we're looking at trying to replace it.
The thing you kind of fear the most about Tottenham is the manager. They've got a world-class manager in Conte, right? And he's a guy that can set up their team in a way in which they can get a result. We know that. We know he's world-class. But then even him, he's been. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. They've only lost one game at home since he's been there, and that was the other night against Chelsea. And in the Premier League, you know, they've been decent. You know what I mean? I think they've only, I think they've lost the game under him, have they? Or
as good as he is,
but
he didn't lay a glove on Chelsea.
Didn't.
And the reason because Chelsea got better players than Tottenham. So, you know, a manager can only do so much. You can't, you know, he can't, you know. Listen. Why Arsenal have improved? Because we've got better players than what we did 2 seasons ago. That's why Arsenal have improved. You know, Mikel then has to just do the tactics and whatever. But ultimately, it's about players. And Tottenham, you know, when they come up against, they've done fantastically well against Liverpool, by the way, a couple of weeks ago. But Liverpool have just gone off the bar. I said that yesterday. They're not quite the Liverpool that they were a few weeks ago. You know, Conte will take them so far, but the players have to take you that bit. And it's the same with Mikel Arteta. Look at the players. You know, are you blaming the players or are you blaming Arteta for Sunday against Forest or not? And then they produce a performance like that. The players ultimately have to take a bit of responsibility. And, you know, for me, I don't even think Conte looks happy.
Nah, he's just moaning at every press conference, isn't he?
He didn't look happy.
He's moaning, he's whinging, he's talking about, you know, his players are nowhere. I look on it and I say, is that a good thing? I know he's probably trying to get Levy to spend money, but is that a good thing if you're a player in that team and in that squad to hear your manager every week coming out to say, you know, obviously we can't compete. None of our players, we're not up to that standard. We're not good enough, you know. So I don't know. Listen, it's always a tough place to go to. As I said, our record there is horrible in recent years. And they can sometimes have, on paper, a much worse team than us and still turn us over. But as I said, what gives me encouragement this time is that I believe, like you said, Lee, we've got a better team than them.
Yeah, I think we have got a better team.
That's why I say, you know, I want to go in with that better team, not just because one thing is, you know, even though they've done brilliantly a lot of those fringe players last night, we can also see at Forest with those fringe players.
There's always that. There's
those
always
fringe
that
players can let us down, and you don't really want those fringe players going into a game against Spurs.
And the other big worry for me, and it is a big issue, is that over the last couple of years, Tottenham have had probably been the better team with the better players and all that. But when it comes to the home games, we've beaten them because home advantage in these North London derbies is huge. I think it's massive. I always say that, you know what I mean? Like, home advantage is massive. Tottenham fans, right, will be up for this game more than they will be for any other game. They say about
first time we're going there as well. Isn't
first
it?
time we're going there.
You know, I mean, you're going. Aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going.
I'm going.
You know what I mean? So
first time for a North London derby at that stadium.
Exactly, but their fans are different when Arsenal come to town than any other team, like, you know, and we are with them. You know what I mean? Like, let's get that right. You know what I mean? So their atmosphere will be a lot more intense than it has been, and the same with us. So that's why home advantage is massive, and that's why I don't like Spurs fans, all these cocky ones. When it was like last season, no, they are, aren't they? they go around turning around going, yeah, we're going to win 3-1, 4-1 at the Emirates and all that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like that. And I never ever go to White Hart Lane saying, oh, we're going to win 3 or 4-0. Like, you know what I mean? I respect, because we're away from home, we're on their patch. It's a difficult place to go. Always has been, always will be. So I think it's going to always be a very, very difficult game. Obviously, you want your best players playing it. Like, I honestly think if we had Partey, Xhaka in midfield, and Odegaard playing, and Smith Rowe available, and all that, I would feel, for the first time in a very, very long while, I was confident going into the game, thinking that we've got a chance of winning this game. Like, you know, real genuine chance. That's evaporated now.
Because all the injuries.
It's a 50-50 call. I would say probably Spurs will be slight favourites.
Spurs, as it stands with all the injuries and that.
Yeah, they're favourites.
They're the favourites. They're at home. They've got a great record against us. They're the favourites. That's what I'm saying. Call it off. Call it. If we ain't got all the main guys, call it off. Like, listen. I'd love to know what you guys think about that. It'd probably be on. But, you know, and then, as I said, it's a big week for Arsenal. Big week. That game's big. You know what? That's huger than normal North London derbies, because, you know, they're chasing us down, right? You know, we're not even in fourth at the moment, by the way. It's West Ham are.
Yeah.
But if Tottenham win, they go above us as well.
Well, and also West Ham...
With a game in hand.
With a game in hand, and West Ham, I think 2 games in hand, wouldn't they? They've got 2 games in hand over us. I mean, we're 2 points in front of us, so they're going in front with 2 games in hand. And also West Ham are at home to Leeds, so you would expect West Ham to win that. So it's important that we keep ourselves in touching distance.
West Ham played a game more than us, but they got 37 points, right? Tottenham got 2 games in hand on us, 33 points. So as I said, if they beat us, they go above us
with 2 games in hand.
With 2 games, with 2 games in hand.
So we need to make sure that we don't lose this game.
Yeah, I think a draw would be you know, you take a draw again, like what we said when we was going up to.
Well, you know, I've said that. You know, these 2 games are massive. You know, if we was to lose against Tottenham and we was to lose against Liverpool, we'd be out of the cup. We'd be 5 games without a win. You know, so these 2 games are very, very important.
I look on it and I say as well, Lee, right, that psychologically, if we could beat Spurs, what that could do for our chances of getting into the top 4, because then we stretch a little gap to them, right? Then you start to look at some of the games coming up. Burnley at home, you'd expect Arsenal to win that. Burnley are struggling at the moment. Wolves away, by the way, that's a tough game. That's another tough game.
Tough.
But, you know...
Play like we can.
We can get a result there. Brentford at home, you'd expect Arsenal to win that game, right? Then Watford away, winnable. Going into March, Leicester at home. We've got a good record against Leicester, even though they beat us, I think, last year at home. But more than capable of beating them at home. Villa away will be a tough game. Crystal Palace away will be a tough game. But they're not the Etihad. You know what I mean?
No, they're different games.
Then you've got Brighton at home, winnable. Southampton away, winnable. Manchester United at home. I think at home.
Yeah.
You know, I always fancy us against United.
Fancy us anytime at home.
Yeah. West Ham away will be very tough. Leeds at home, winnable. Newcastle away, penultimate game of the season. Depends what situation they're in, if they're fighting to stay up or whatever, but it'll be tough. Everton at home, our last game. You look throughout that, after Tottenham, apart from, say, Man United...
We've got Liverpool to arrange in that game.
Oh, yeah, we've got to rearrange the Liverpool game, yeah.
Because that would have been the Carabao Cup final, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so
whoever gets it goes through.
Yeah, so...
Listen,
Liverpool, even though it's a tough game, is at home.
Chelsea away as well. We've got some tough games here. But we've got games that we can...
But I feel that the Tottenham game, if we go away there and win that could be a turning point game.
Ultimately, also, if we was to win that, it puts pressure on their games in hand to win those games in hand. You know what I mean? Like, they go to Leicester on the Wednesday. If we've beaten them, they have to beat Leicester. Otherwise, if they don't, it's one of their games chalked off and they're not catching us. So it's so important that we...
Massive week for Arsenal And
I honestly think if we beat Spurs, I think we'll be favourites for fourth. I really do think that. I'm not saying we're going to get it, but I think the bookies would put us down as favourites.
Brilliant. Right, let's have a look at. We're going to get into our predictions first of all.
Can we? Are you going to say it is a hammering, isn't it?
He's so cocky, man.
You've been, as they say in baseball, knocked out the park. Like, you know what I mean?
The games we predicted last week, Forest, Arsenal, we both got those wrong.
We got that wrong.
Going to it.
Miserably got that wrong.
Millwall versus Crystal Palace. I said it'd be 2-1 to Millwall. I don't know why. Lee went 2-1 to Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
It was 2-1, 3 points. Manchester United versus Aston Villa. I said Villa will win 2-1. You said Villa will win 1-0.
3 points.
But no.
What?
No, Man United won 1-0.
Yeah, I said Man United win 1-0.
No, you said Villa would win 1-0.
No, Man United 1-0.
Look, I've got it here, look. Man United Villa, you said Villa would win 1-0.
Did I?
Yeah.
I thought it was 1-0, I said.
1-0, right? So you said Villa would win 1-0. And then Shrewsbury versus Liverpool versus Shrewsbury. I said 3-1. You said 3 and it was actually 4. So, you won. You won.
Yeah.
Were you trying to eke out more points now?
Well, I was trying to nick a few more
Yeah,
there.
I
I thought I went Man United to win 1-0.
All right, I've got on the board here this week's games. Let's get straight into
what
it.
You want down on that board?
The North London derby. If it goes ahead, hopefully it will. Well, if we've got all our players.
Spurs 0, Arsenal 6.
All right, I'll put that down.
Again, I think it's going to be a draw, but I'm going to go Spurs 1, Arsenal 2. That's my heart telling me that.
See, it's hard to predict. You don't even know what the team's going to be.
Yeah.
I'll go for a draw 1-1 because I just if I knew that we've got everyone back,
you'd go for a win.
I'm going for a win. Yeah. But Manchester City versus Chelsea.
Do you know what? I was impressed with Chelsea the last couple of games against Spurs, but they were, City are a different team to Spurs, aren't they?
Much different.
I think that City might lay a glove on them. For sure, you go first.
Ooh.
I thought put that little grenade out there for you first.
Chelsea are capable of doing something against. It's at the Etihad though. I'm going for a draw in this as well.
I was going to go for a draw.
I'm going for a draw in this.
What are you going?
2-2.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. 2-2. I was going to say 2-2. I don't think it'd be 1-1. So City to win it 2-1 now, but I'll fancy a draw.
Aston Villa.
Whoa.
Coutinho, Lucadinha signed versus Manchester United. They absolutely peppered United on Monday. Didn't get the result.
Yeah, they will this time.
Ronaldo and that will be back for United in this game.
Yeah, don't care. Villa 2, Manchester United 1.
That's what I was going to go for. I'll go Villa 1, Manchester United 0. And a relegation battle. Newcastle with Chris Wood versus Watford with Emmanuel Dennis.
Now, are Watford better than Cambridge? That's the thing, isn't it? You know what I mean? Shoot, go first, by the way.
Jeez, it's a hard game to call.
Yes, it's, well, why'd you put this one in? This is a tough one, this.
(2-1) Newcastle.
2-0 Newcastle. I think 2-1's a good scoreline.
All right, so there you have it. Those are our predictions. You guys do your predictions at home as well. But big week ahead for Arsenal. North London derby on Sunday, and then second leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final with a chance to go to Wembley. And we could do it a Wembley visit. Haven't been there for a bit, so we could do with that. And also, you know, chance for Arsenal to win a trophy this season. As you know, 2 games that would define the season. Chance for the top 4, chance for winning a trophy. Come on, Arsenal, we can do this. Put in a good performance and just like, you know, show that fight and grit that we showed the other night, and we've definitely got a chance. Lee?
100% got a chance, like, you know, and I just want to, like, you know, next 2 games, the fans, you know, let's go to White Hart Lane, be loud. And of course, at the Emirates, when we've got 60,000 of us there, give it to them. Give it to those Scousers.
Give it to them.
Give it to those Scousers.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for watching and listening to this podcast. Don't forget you can download it on all the normal formats. And don't forget to subscribe here if you're watching on YouTube. Like the video. And we'll catch you again next week.